Are you ready to get started on our November Cuties? Hi everyone, it is time to get started on our November Cuties tabletoppers. I'm Cristin and our sponsor, don't forget, our sponsor is My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. I will add a link here of where you can purchase your supplies. They have fabric kits and even thread kits all ready for our November Cuties to get started. So I just wanted to do a quick prep video. It'll be very quick, but prepping your fabrics and getting ready for our project. So there's just a few minor changes that I'm going to suggest. So I'm going to open up this package from our sponsor, My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. Make sure to order your supplies from them. Support our sponsor. All right. And you can see there is pretty glitter and lots of really pretty fall color fabrics. So fun. So just real quick, a few minor changes. So the first one is fine, second one is fine, third one. So I'm going off of page 19 that has the fabrics for our November Cuties, all right? So like I said, first one fine, second one fine, third one on the gather small leaves and corner blocks for that fabric. I don't have it out right now. I think it's just this darker of the gold. I believe it's this one, all right? There's two gold fabrics and there's one that's just a tiny bit darker, so I'm going to use that darker one for the corner fabrics. So on the corner fabrics, I always cut them a 1/2 inch larger. I find it easier because it'll tack it down and then we trim it at the end after we measure it and make sure that it actually stayed to the size needed. So there will be a tack down, and that tack down, when you measure it, as long as it's still 2.5 by 2.5, then you can go ahead and cut it using that tack down line. So again, my suggestion on the corner blocks, instead of 4 pieces at 2.5 by 2.5, I always do 4 pieces that are 3 by 3. All right. Otherwise, it's not going to tack it down. So if you have enough fabric to do that, great. If not, it will work with 2.5 by 2.5. But my suggestion is 3 by 3, just to make sure that we can get that tack down. It holds it in place easier, or you can tape it if you need to, whatever works. All right. And then let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4 fabric is fine, 5 fabric is fine, 6 fabric is fine. I should be showing you each of these, huh? Let's do that real quick. So the first one is this dark burgundy color, all right? That is number 1 fabric. Is for the squares for the center block. No changes on that. Just follow the guide that's on page 19. And then number 2 fabric is the dark orange fabric. This is also for the squares for the center. And this one, no change on that. Just follow the guide that's on page 19. We're going to cut and stabilize those. All right. And then for the third one, that is the, like I said, the darker of the gold. All right. And that one is the one that I was saying, the first part, the triangles for the small leaves, leave it as what it says in the directions. But for the corner blocks, I would cut them a little bit bigger if you can. 3 by 3, 4 pieces at 3 by 3. All right. And that is the third fabric. The fourth fabric is the lighter gold, all right? And that one is for the gather large leaves. No changes on that. Just follow the guide, all right? And then the next one is for our triangles, and it is a creamy, silky solid, all right? No changes on that. Make sure to stabilize this. I'm going to stabilize almost all of these. I'll let you know what isn't stabilized. Really, it's cool. Well, I'll tell you. So we'll get there. All right, so for the cream for the triangles, same as what it says in the guide. And then the next one, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fabric number 6 is the cream colored with the lines all over it. And this one is for our center background. No changes. Just follow the guide on page 19 of our Cuties Tabletopper book. And then for, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I should have numbered them before I started the video. This one is that lattice fabric. This one is for the outer border. So one change on this, as I have said every month this year, I recommend cutting your borders a little bit bigger just to make sure that you have enough, and then we can cut it down at assembly. So where it says 4 pieces at 2.5 by 18, I'm going to do 4 pieces at 2.5 by 20. And again, that's for our outer border. All right, 4 pieces at 2.5 by 20. Getting messages. All right, and then the next one, let's see here. for the squares, center square, sorry for this. This is like a nice pretty brown. I like this brown, just a simple brown, silky solid, and that's for our center blocks. No changes to that. All right, and that is fabric 8, I believe. 2, 4, 6, 8, fabric 8. Okay, and there's quite a few browns, that's why I'm going over these. So fabric number 9, this one is the brown with lines all over it, and this one is for our inner borders and our binding. So both of those I have some suggestions. So first off, what I do is I cut the binding off straight from the front so that I can make sure not to stabilize binding. If you stabilize it, it makes it really hard to do those mitered corners. So I cut them off right from the start. In the book, it says to do 2 pieces that are 2.5 inches times width of fabric and 1 piece that is 2.5 inches times 20. I don't do that. I find it a lot easier and faster to just cut 3 pieces that are 2.5 times width of fabric. I do it every time. There's always enough fabric. So 3 pieces, that's my suggestion. 3 pieces that are 2.5 times width of fabric. That's for your binding. And I cut that off right from the start so that I'm not stabilizing those. Then the rest that is left over, I do stabilize, and that's for our inner borders. So on inner border A, it says 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 10.5. I always cut them a little bit larger just to make sure that we have enough, and then I cut it down in assembly. So that one, my recommendation is 2 pieces that is 1 3/4 by 12. Instead of 10.5, I just cut them to 12, just a little bit longer. All right, and then that's for inner border A. For inner border B, I cut 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 times 15. In the book, it says 1 3/4 by 13, and I do 1 3/4 by 15. It just makes it a little bit longer, just a little wiggle room just in case. All right, and if you've ever had your borders be too short, you'll know it's pretty important. All right, so that's the only change I have on those. I do stabilize my inner borders, but not the binding. And then our last fabric is the backing. All right, and this shows as this one in the book. Let me grab it. Sorry, it shows as this one, but I received a brown silky solid, which is great, no problem. And notice that it is darker than the other brown silky solid. Okay, so this one, in the book, it said, first off, don't stabilize it unless you choose. Some people do choose to stabilize their back fabric, and more power to you. If you have trouble with the pinning process and it bubbles up or anything like that, you could certainly stabilize it. I don't. I definitely prefer not to, but that's my personal preference. So on this, we want a piece that is 24 by 24, but I don't cut it. I don't pre-cut it. When I'm all done with the top of my table topper, I just lay it down on the silky solid, and then I do my stitch in the ditch and I cut when I'm done. All right, so up to you, but again, you don't want it to be too small, so why not just wait until after you do the stitch in the ditch, right? So that's the back fabric. Like I said, I don't stabilize it, but you certainly can if you prefer. And then we have the glitter vinyl and the velveteen. I don't stabilize either of these. All right, and this one, you want to make sure to take that topping off. You can do it later. I'll show you when we get to the point that we need it, but you always take off that plastic coating that's on the top of the vinyl. So that's really it for the fabrics. Okay, so we're just going to prep our fabrics and get all ready. We are going to do our batting, and I will add a guide for the batting, and you can do a screenshot to cut your batting from there. I don't have that already prepped or ready or anything, but I will make a PDF that you can just do a screenshot from this video. So the other thing is the threads. So almost all the threads that I chose, because I just put them up against my fabric to see what will match, and almost all of them came from my Falling for Autumn thread kit. So how convenient was that, right? I think all of them except this green. I chose a darker green than what is in the Falling for Autumn thread kit. So let me just go over these. So there is, on the bottom of page 18, there's a little guide with tiny little boxes, and I just wrote down the ones that I'm going to go. So from the top row left to right, and then the bottom row. So the first one, I'm using lead gray. That's for that first color that's on there. And then the next one, I'm using Pinot. I don't drink alcohol, and I think that's an alcohol thing, and so I'm probably saying it wrong, but Pinot is what it was in our Falling for Autumn kit, and it's the perfect color. It matched really well with our fabric that came. All right, and then the third one, I crossed it out a few times, changed my mind. So it is Mocha, this one, Mocha. All right, that's what I'm using for the third color on the top row, Mocha. And then for the fourth one, I'm using Cappacino. It's a little bit lighter. All right, Cappacino for the fourth one on the top row. All right, and then for the bottom row, I have Coffee Bean. It's a darker brown, Coffee Bean. And then Burnt Orange. We've used that a lot for our Falling for Autumn kit. Burnt orange. And then I have Sage. So that was the one that I chose, a different green than what was in the Falling for Autumn kit, but I'm sure the Falling for Autumn green would work just fine too. But I chose Sage. All right, all of these are glide threads. And then for the gold, I'm using Ginger. That was also from the Falling for Autumn kit. And then I added one additional. It didn't have it in here, and I felt like a cream was needed, so I chose to add the cream. That's also from our Falling for Autumn kit. All right, so cream. So there's 8 threads on page 18, the little box, and I'm using 9. And I have a list of them underneath this video so that you can reference back to that. So today is all about prepping and getting ready to get started on our November Cuties table topper. It's going to be so cute. It's that gather one. Isn't that so cute? That'll be really fun. All right, time to get started. And how are you doing with your goal? Don't forget, every project I like to have a goal. So my goal for this entire project, we're doing all 12 cuties. We're on number 11. So mine has been working on strength, building strength. And I did a lot this weekend to work toward strength. I did a very, very hard hike, and then I got down from that hike and went back up and did more hiking and ended up with over 10 miles that day and 25,000 steps, and just a big workout. And then on Sunday I did a bike ride with my club and was really slow. For me, I was like trying to keep up with the club because my legs were so tired from all that hiking. I totally forgot about that. But anyway, really good bike ride. So definitely a lot of strength building this past weekend. So that was good. What are you doing toward your goal? And my shirt today, I love this one. I really love this one. I just made it like last winter. This one is, my favorite color is Sparkle. Isn't that fun? With lots of vinyl, sparkly vinyl, glitter vinyl. So that was really fun. I love this one. This design is from Bows and Clothes. I will add a link underneath this video and a photo so that you can see the shirt better. It's such a fun one. I really love this design, and I added a ton of bling. Hopefully you can see the bling in the photo, but that was super fun. So I will add all the information underneath this video.